Welcome back, listeners, to a brand new episode of The New Standard. And you're checking out the program at the conclusion of the Steelers' resounding victory of the New York Jets 37 to 15. Checking out the program on October 20th, 2024. And the title of this week's program is I Stand Corrected, because I will admit I was very wary of Russell Wilson getting the starting nod in this game. But before we jump into that and jump into the segments of the show and the breakdown of the post game, as always, hit us with a like and a subscribe. You can do that by hitting that like button. And also, you could check out the podcast if you like to consume the program via pod. I will be putting up the podcast later today. But I wanted to get started because I know it's very late on the East Coast. It's about 11:30, meaning it's later, even later internationally. So I wanted to get the show going. And the reason why I am entitling, and I'm going to do my holistic thoughts about the Steelers. That's typically my last segment of the show. I'm going to do my holistic thoughts first and big up the Steelers freak and big up to everybody who's checking out the program live. And it turns out, but before we jump into the game, I just want to ask, did any of you guys watch Brianna Stewart moonwalk before she did a Euro step? Oh man, she traveled, but congratulations to the New York Liberty on their championship. Also, congratulations. Unfortunately, I hate them, but congratulations to the Dodgers. You're going to get a Yankees versus Dodgers World Series, which is the biggest World Series possible. But just wanted to say congratulations to all those franchises out before we jump into the program. Big up to my guy, Marcus J. Assalamu alaikum, my brother, AHS. And I stand corrected. There is nothing about Russell Wilson that made me think it was a good idea to have Russ start the ball game. But Jiminy Crickets, 37 points. There is a reason I podcast and Mike Tomlin coaches. Last 2 weeks, they scored 69 points. They have upped their average scoring to 23 points a game, only giving up 14, point differential of 9 in that rare air. Man, I'm not a football coach. I got to give it to Mike Tomlin. I got to give it to him. Big up to my guy, Brent Howe. I got to give it to Mike Tomlin. He knows football. He knows his team. I mean, they coach the guys. And that's the one thing that we always have to, as much as we think we know, we have to stand humble. And I stand corrected. I'm completely wrong. 1000%. And I'm not going to be a guy that's going to come back on the show and be like, see, I knew I was right. Russ reverted and turned back into a pumpkin, and the glass slipper broke at 10 o'clock instead of midnight. No, I was wrong. You can clearly see in this game that Russ's ability to throw the deep ball create some space and some gravity in this offense. Big up to my guy, Joshua Shields. There is a difference in this offense. There is a difference in the passing game. I know around the second quarter, the name of the program was Rusty with about 5 S's. And I was putting as many S's in the name or the adjective rusty to describe how rusty he was and count the number of punts. But I'm wrong. And I stand corrected. Russ may turn into a line cook. Who the hell knows? But I know tonight, after the second half, he was chefing. He started getting into his bag. And there are some things that jump out to you when you look at the stat sheet. When you look at Russell Wilson's numbers, he was 16 of 29. He only completed 55% of his balls, but pause, But the thing that stands out is the yards per attempt. The Steelers averaged 9.1 yards per attempt, and they had 3 pass catchers who averaged over 20 yards a reception in George Pickens, Freiermuth, and Calvin Austin. When is the last time? If anybody has the stats, can look it up and figure it out. StatMuse probably can. I'm not good enough to multitask and do both. But when is the last time the Steelers averaged 9.1 yards per attempt in the passing game? And I'm sure that Russ will be a little more crisp as he gets more snaps and more reps and gets more up the game speed. But this wasn't a gimme game, too. This was a tough defense. The Jets are PFF #1 ranked defense. They were a little banged up in their second day. They were very banged up by the end of the game. But this was an outstanding effort by this offense. I mean, this team has scored 37 and 32 points in back-to-back games to get to 5-2. They are now, I will repeat it, averaging 23 points per game and only giving up 14.4. 9-point differential. I am flabbergasted. And not because I was wrong, because I can be wrong. And big up to my guy, Claude Bishop. Let me jump into your comment. Thanks for the super chat, Claude. He said, I've been bashing Tomlin too, but Mike had a feeling, and the Steelers might just have a passing game. You know what Mike had, Claude? And the thing we have to be cognizant of is, as much as we follow the Steelers, as much as we're into advanced analytics and all the different numbers and so on and so forth, they watch practice. Practice actually means something. They actually watch practice. They're watching these guys prepare. They know what the calls are. They know the impact that these guys will have on the offense. Guess what? These guys actually know what they're doing some of the time. Some of the time, because of course, I stayed at a Holiday Inn and I'm an expert at football. And so I'm going to be coaching and taking over for the Steelers next week. But again, I'm going to take full credit for the Steelers win because I picked the Jets. And you see how it's going. I picked the Jets 17-9. So I'm going to take full credit for this victory. Full credit for this victory. So thank me. Don't thank Tomlin. Don't thank Russell Wilson. Thank me. And the fan that will never be named, the supporter of the show that will never be named, big up to you. I'm going to keep doing it week after week. I'm going to keep picking against the Steelers because, hey, it seems like it's effective. And who knows? I might be the reason why they actually go to the playoffs. But in jumping to some other numbers, I think the other numbers, and honestly, I think what stands out when you look at this team is if they can run the ball and if their defense can play well enough to keep the score down to make the running game still plausible to get to in games, then they're going to play these close games. But let me just ask everybody that's listening to the show, and again, you're checking out the program on October 20th, the new standard. I stand corrected. Ain't it nice to watch a game that's not a one-score game, that's not a Tomlin game? Like, my heart can take half Tomlin games, where the first half is a Tomlin game and the second half is a beat they ass game. I can take that type of football. I don't like watching close games all game, but I just don't know what to do with myself because the Steelers have won by multiple scores in 2 straight weeks. I mean, what do they say? 2 times is a coincidence. 3 times is a, I don't know. Whoever knows that cliche on the show, please give me that cliche. 3 times is a whatever. I don't know if it's 3 times as a trend, but hey, if they do this against the Giants next week, is this the expectation? Going to the bye 6-2? Early in the game, though, really quickly, and we'll jump into some winners and losers. But before that, before I jump into, well, let's jump into the winners and losers. Again, you're checking out to the new standard. I stand corrected. The winner is absolutely Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is the winner. Mike Tomlin was second guest, triple guest, third guest. He was all types of guests. And it turns out that Russ, like AB said, was cooking like Raekwon chef with the purple tape. I mean, he didn't start out cooking. He bounced a couple. I was like, man, he's skipping rocks out here. How's this guy skipping rocks? I've never seen a guy skip rocks on a screen. He's skipping rocks. But Russ had to laugh, and so did Mike Tomlin. That's why one of the winners of this has to be Mike Tomlin. Like Marlon Nicholson said, Mike Tomlin proved me wrong. I stand corrected. He has his thumb on the pulse of this team. And no one can second guess what he did now. You replace the quarterback. He comes in, gets you 37. You dominate. You can win your next game against a bad Giants team, although they're good defensively. Want to see how they block Dexter Lawrence. That'll be interesting. But you can get into the bye week 6-2. And let me just jump into my other winner. And I'm glad Coach Hatcher brought it up. McCormick is a beast. And big up to the Steelers' offensive line. They are another winner in this game because the offensive line did a fantastic job and they grinded this game out. Najee Harris also is a winner. Back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. Najee, 21 attempts, 102 yards, 4.9 yards per carry. Winner in this game. The running game overall, 36 attempts, 150 yards rushing, average 4.1 yards per carry. They grounded up. And on the flip side, Steelers defense did a solid job in eliminating the Jets running game, only giving up 54 yards on 15 carries for 3.6 yards per clip. Fantastic job by this offensive line. And I thought Collinsworth did a fantastic job in just illustrating the job that Pat Meyer and the coaching staff is doing with these guys, because this is a no-name bunch up there. And as they got acclimated to the game, it looked very good. Also, I'm going to agree with Steelers Freak. Danny Smith is a winner. Coach Danny Smith is a winner. Special teams makes a big play and blocking a field goal. Very good game in all three phases. Started off a little bit slow, which was to be expected, but it turned out to be, a Donnybrook, as I use an old term. But let me just say this real quick. Again, listeners, you are checking out the new standard. I stand corrected. I was kind of criticizing the Steelers a little bit going into this game because I didn't understand what the big deal about the block letters and the gray face masks. But I'm going to say this. The gray face masks and the block letters, that shit is hard. That shit is hard. That is hard. That is a hard look. I'm not a guy, and big up to Lester J. Jayton Jr. Yes, 31 points unanswered. Fantastic. But those gray face masks and the block letters, block numbers, oh man, that was hard. That just reminded me of my childhood. As you all well know, if you've been listening to the show for a long time, I am from Pittsburgh. I'm from the north side. I'm from Manchester. So I grew up maybe about 10 minutes from Heinz Field. It was Three Rivers when I was a kid. I disagree, Corey. The gray face masks are not garbage. No, they are not. And see, I'm not going to get on you, Corey, about your never mind. I'm not going to get on you about that. But fantastic game by the Steelers. Some other numbers to look at in this game. some great numbers for this team. On the defensive side of football, the Steelers defense held the Jets to 3 of 10 on third down, 30%. Steelers struggled a little bit on third down, 5 of 14. At one point in time, they had no third downs converted, but they kind of warmed to the task in the second half. Another number to jump into, and I think it's the first time this year. And if somebody could look it up and tell me when was the last time the Steelers had 400 yards of offense in a game. They averaged a paltry for them 6.2 yards per play, and they scored 4 touchdowns in this game. I mean, overall, no doubt, this was their most complete game in all 3 phases. They even had 21 first downs in this game, 12 in the passing game, which was, I think, the most that they've had this year. This was a fantastic game for them in many facets and in many different ways. And I stand corrected. And I owe Mike Tomlin a huge apology because, he has his fingers on the pulse of this team, and the call to go to Russell Wilson, even if the Steelers don't wind up winning a championship or whatever, all that stuff is down. All that stuff is down the road. It was the right decision right now, and he had his finger on the pulse of it. It was the absolute, it was absolutely an awesome decision by him. In terms of winners, losers, we kind of mixed that all together. I thought the offensive line was a big winner. I thought Beanie Bishop was an absolute winner in this game with his 2 big turnovers. We talked a lot about this at the beginning of the season, that slot corner is one of your most important positions as a defense because they play so many snaps because you're playing so much football and sub-package football. And he played outstanding. 2 turnovers. The second interception, the one-handed one where he cradled it back to his body, that was a fantastic play. That was a fantastic play. And it looks like, and I don't want to make a big, broad statement about the Jets, but their big problem is Aaron Rodgers and the curl flat offense. I mean, he wants to throw back shoulder fades, curl flats. I mean, that's pretty much what the offense is. You could take that stuff away, and it's pretty predictable. One thing that did not show up early in this game, the Steelers did not tackle the football well. Minkah Fitzpatrick missed some tackles, and they just weren't stamping out plays because, when you're going up against a short passing game, you've got to tackle it. You've got to tackle it. You've got to tackle a short passing game. And it's interesting just how games evolve over the course of the 4 quarters, because initially I was writing the running game was broken. But I guess I had to be patient, and I had to stand correct about that. But Russell's ability to throw the deep ball gets some of these guys away from the line of scrimmage and creates more room in the running game. And you really saw the Steelers lean on the Jets in the second half. Big up to my guy, Corey Hatcher. They ran old school power on the one really big run by Najee. Hey, man. And it was apropos that they ran it because power on that play because, hey, they had the block letters on. They had the gray face mask, baby. And it was the 50th anniversary of Super Bowl IX and the victory then. Fantastic game by the Steelers in all 3 phases. In terms of game grades, I mean, I think you have to give the offense an A. I think you have to give the running game an A. I think, if I wanted to nitpick, I think you would want them to be better in converting third downs, but they were good on their 4th down conversions. Also, they hit some big plays in the passing game. So overall, I would give the offense an A, and I would give the defense an A. The only thing about the defense you want is the pass rush. I want the pass rush to pick up a little bit more. And I know going up against Aaron Rodgers, he's going to get the ball out quick. I do want to see the pass rush pick up again a little bit. But when you give up 15 to Aaron Rodgers, you hold a team to 3 of 10 on third down. You only give up about 60 yards in the rushing game, 276 in the air. That's a solid game. That is a solid game. I don't know if it's an A game because I've seen them play better, but they did what they had to do. And it's funny. Like, This is a different iteration of Tomlin ball that I'm not used to, but it had some of the elements, and those were turnovers. It had some inconsistent offense mixed with some splash. And that's one of the reasons I think you saw why Tomlin wanted to get Russell Wilson back into this offense, because the offense needed some splash. It did not need to be in constant pressure about having to sustain long drives to score touchdowns. It needed some field changing plays to be able to score much easier. You also see some sacks given up, but they only gave up one sack in the game. But this is a little deviation from the traditional Tomlin ball, mainly because they scored 37 points. I mean, like Corey Hatcher said, even Jefferson caught a TD pass. And as you can see on the graphic below the screen, I have my little gray face mask in the bottom, and that's a Steeler helmet behind my picture. Joey Porter Jr. was on point as well. I think Corey is correct. I think they need to move TJ Watt around some and involve TJ Watt into some games. Big up to my guy Remix. And Remix, that's why I named the show I Stand Corrected, because people can confuse me at times with being a Tomlin hater. And I stand corrected because I got it wrong. And this was total Twilight Zone shit tonight. Like, who is this team? A team that scores 37 and gives up 15? I mean, do I need to break out? I gotta. I can I finish the song? Listeners, can I finish the song? Can I finish the song? I don't know yet. But also Corey chimed in. I never hated on Tomlin. I think it was 100% accurate to question the decision. I think so too. But the thing about it is you can question it. It's how you question it. And I think the one thing as podcasters, fans, people on the outside, is the level of certainty at which we question the decisions. We are making guesses, inferences. They see these guys in practice and they have a vision for what they want the offense to be. You know, like Remix says, Russ throws tutties, Field runs in tutties, wide receivers want tutties. Yes, tutties. And I'm assuming, yes, they do. They do. And Remix and everybody listening to the show, you're checking out the new standard. I Stand Corrected. Please hit me with a like and subscribe. I think we're going to get out here a little bit. It's kind of late. It's about 9 o'clock back here. Let me jump into a couple more comments before we end the program. So my overall game grades, I'm gonna give the defense a B plus. I'm gonna give the offense an A. There were some standout performers that we pointed out. The offensive line, Beanie Bishop. I think Najee played well. Russ played well. And I think that offensive line as a group, as a whole, played well. And what do you know? They've got some offensive line depth. I think they've got a great combination of centers. And you got McCormick and Siamalu playing fantastic football at the guard position. Let me jump into this comment from Nicholas Gabriel. Big up to Nick. All the skill players looked like they were having fun for once. It's been a while since I've seen this energy. True. True. True indeed. True indeed. True indeed. The offense in the second half, particularly when the running game got going, looked like it had some juice. And I think overall, when we look at this team and we look at the offense, you're going to have issues in the passing game if this running game does not churn, if it does not cook. This running game, this is a running team. This is a running football team. If they run the ball fairly effectively on first and second downs or on first down and can stay on schedule, this offense, in my opinion, will cook. And Corey also said we have a franchise quarterback. I'm not sure. I'm going to pause on that. I'm happy today, but I'm going to pause on that. I don't think he is a franchise guy. I think he was a franchise guy. There is a reason his old gig is paid him 40 million bucks to kick rocks. That is still very true. Not sure he was a franchise. He is a franchise quarterback. He is a experienced quarterback that's been to the mountaintop and back, but I'm not going to necessarily say he's a franchise guy. And also, Nick Gabriel pointed out very astutely, Jalen Warren is back, look frisky, and that is a nice running back combination. I think you combine those two people, they are one really good, one running back, excuse me. But Najee Harris, again, another winner in this game, back-to-back 100-yard games. This is a fantastic victory by the Pittsburgh Steelers as they resoundingly destroy the New York Jets 37-15. But I want to thank myself because I am the reason they won because I picked them to lose. And I'm going to pick them to lose again next week. But with that, as always, please enjoy the show. And as always, tune in, tell a friend, and subscribe. Go Steelers. 5-2, first place. Holla at your boy.